Alright, we up in this. Just make sure everything's working correctly. Oh, ooh, hold up, hold up. Man, this boy Takayama just got hurt, man. Just got hurt for a second. You gotta keep that chin down, buddy. Man, Soto ain't coming in here playing. Anyways, welcome back to another edition of Gen Sports Corner. Back at you for a Cinco de Mayo, what we could count as Cinco de Mayo weekend. Canelo Alvarez versus Billy Joe Saunders. Fight night, man. Listen. I've been waiting for this fight for a long time. Y'all don't even know. Since they were at 160. They're at 168 now. I've been wanting this fight to happen. When they were at 160, it didn't happen. Billy Joe Saunders, I believe he had the WBO belt at 160. Gennady Golovkin had two of the belts, I believe, and then Canelo Alvarez had one other belt. So it was pretty much those three guys at 160 because Golovkin got one belt from Lemieux. So he was holding two. Canelo, I think, had. Let's see. Let's confirm that. Let's confirm that first. Hold on. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. Triple G had the WBA, WBC, IBF title at 160, and then Billy Joe Saunders had the WBO title. Yes, correct. At 160. And I was wanting them to fight. Oh my gosh, yo. This boy Takayama is getting chipped. Yo! Woo! Yo, this man. Yo, this boy Takayama barely made it out of round one. Like, he barely survived. What? This card is lit, man. This card is lit. Because the fight before that, Chisoko almost got knocked out by the Bull Conway. He was dominating the fight, and then in round 9, looked like he got hit with an uppercut right on the orbital bone. That is a tough shot to eat, man. It was a tough steak, but he ate it. Very good fight by him. But this fight, first round, almost had a knockout. Anyways, back to what I was saying. You got Billy Joe Saunders at 160. In my opinion, he was dipping and ducking and dodging Triple G and Canelo Alvarez. It is what it is. He was supposed to fight Boo Boo Andrade, I think, 1 or 2 years ago, and that fight didn't happen because Billy Joe moved up to 168, so he didn't get the fight with Boo Boo. Moved up to 168, got the vacant WBO super-middleweight title at 168, and didn't end up fighting Gilberto Ramirez. He just fought this past winter against Martin Murray, beat him, but Martin Murray's older, so that don't really count to me. But the fact that he's finally fighting Canelo Alvarez, and honestly, he's fighting Canelo Alvarez when Canelo's better. So he had to run into him eventually anyway. Now, Billy Joe Saunders, he's better now because back then, I didn't think he could beat Canelo or Triple G. But it's different times right now. Different days, different times, pandemics happening, all that good jazz, right? So the lead up to this fight this week, the whole buzz around it was the ring size. Canelo wanted the 18-foot ring. Then Billy Joe Saunders wanted a 24-foot ring. Oh, yo, we about to have a knockout. I'm sorry I keep kind of phasing in and out of my conversation, but this dude Takayama is about to get knocked out, man. I don't think he's going to make out the second round. Okay, so, they wanted different size rings, and if you've ever been into a boxing ring, I know at least in the UK, the regulation size ring is like 18 to 20 feet. Um, there's honestly, fighting in a 16-foot ring is like fighting in a phone booth. I could see like 18 to 20 feet, but 24 feet is crazy. They don't even allow you to have over a 22-foot ring in the UK. It might even be 20 feet might even be the limit, but 24 feet you know what Billy Joe Saunders wants to do. He's either playing head games or he wants to get on his bicycle, throw the jab, move around so Canelo can't catch him. That's why he wants the bigger ring. And, they finally agreed upon a 22-foot ring. That's still a big ring. And Billy Joe's been getting clowned all week. Canelo was clowning him. Boo Andrade was clowning him. Put a video up, I think on his Instagram or something like that, where he started like jogging and doing laps around the ring, saying that's what Billy Joe Saunders was going to be doing all night, trying to run from Canelo. Threw a little pity pat jab and started running around. Look, Billy Joe got what he wanted it. He got a big ring, so he better use it, and he's going to use it. He has really good hand speed, really good technical skills, a really good jab and counters, and he's going to be one to keep Canelo at distance. So this ring is definitely going to play to his advantage. Canelo gave him what he wanted. So they both weighed in 170, 67 and some change apiece, and the face-off was intense, man. It was intense. I mean, the weigh-in face-off was intense, but the face-off was intense, man. Like, listen, neither one of them budged, man. Like, the intensity was insane, man. It was like two Super Saiyans just staring each other down before an epic battle. Like Majin Vegeta versus Super Saiyan 2 Goku. Like, before Majin Buu got resurrected, for all you DBZ heads, that's what the stare down was like, man. It was intense. And I think this is going to be a banger. Because 2 or 3 years ago, I didn't think Billy Joe Saunders could compete with Canelo. But today, this is going to be a barn burner. Now, going into the fight, let's go through the tail of the tape. I believe both of them are 30, I believe. Let me double check that for y'all real quick. But you have Canelo at 5'9.5", 70.5-inch reach. And then you have Mr. Billy Joe Saunders standing at 5'11" with a 71.5-inch reach. So reach is not too appreciably different, but there is a slight height difference. And you're talking about a southpaw as well in Billy Joe Saunders. So that's going to be big because you look back at the fights where Canelo Alvarez had the biggest issues, they were with slick boxers and counterpunchers, and especially the ones who were southpaw. So, he had the loss against Floyd Mayweather Jr. years back, but, as good of a fighter as Canelo was at that point, he was like 23, 24. He was a very green fighter. So he did well for where he was at in that point in his career. But I more so look at the fights against Austin Trout and Erislandy Lara at 154. Austin Trout, slick southpaw, great counterpuncher, great jab. Canelo beat him, but it was a very tough fight up until the last few rounds. And he won a very close fight, and the knockdown was a big part of it. And then he had a really tough fight against Erislandy Lara, a person that Oscar De La Hoya didn't want Canelo fighting. And in my opinion, I think he lost that fight, maybe by a point. He got the win officially on the scorecards, but I thought he lost that fight by 1 round against a very tough and frustrating type of fighter in Erislandy Lara. Southpaw guy with a great jab, the Cuban style, that classic Cuban style, setting up things off the jab and just trying to really control the ring, be the ring general, and just point you to death. And, those are the type of guys where he's had issues with, right? And you're talking about another guy in Billy Joe Saunders, southpaw, very slick boxer, never been defeated, never tasted the bitter taste of defeat yet. 30-0. He's really good. I'll give you that. And I've had my criticisms of Billy Joe Saunders over the years for him, in my opinion, eluding and ducking and dodging Triple G and Canelo. But he showed me a lot in this fight against David Lemieux at 160. David Lemieux, a tank, a warrior, come straight forward, but he has the dip game and the athleticism to get inside and knock out power in both hands. Can knock you into the shadow realm. And he made him look slow and outclassed him. I was highly impressed with Billy Joe Saunders. Up to that point, I really didn't have as much confidence in him, but that fight showed me something. And he moved up to 168, and now he's the champion there. And he has those thick boxing skills. It's very apparent. So, speed, I would give a slight edge to Billy Joe Saunders. Canelo's very fast as well. Power, that's clearly Canelo Alvarez to me. He's carried that power up through the weight divisions. He's carried that power up through the weight divisions and has been able to either knock out or seriously hurt guys at higher weight classes. Sergey Kovalev at 175, getting the knockout stoppage there, and then a complete beatdown of Caleb Smith, Liam Smith, the younger brother. I always get their names confused, but the younger Smith brother at 168, where he beat him convincingly and got the WBA and WBC super welterweight titles, including the Ring Magazine super welterweight titles, which is very impressive against a guy that was bigger and taller. So that says a lot about Canelo's power. So clearly Canelo has the power advantage. Billy Joe Saunders has a slight speed advantage. In terms of ring generalship, that's very close, but I'm going to give that to Canelo. He has grown so much since the Mayweather fight. He's able to control space, distance, cut off the ring, and really get inside and fight. Not just get inside, he's able to fight from the outside too. He effectively beat Mr. Smith a couple months for the 168-pound belts from the outside as well as the inside. You know, the longer, taller fighter, he was able to beat him with the jab. It says a lot about Canelo Alvarez's timing and boxing IQ. So I give a slight edge to Canelo, but Billy Joe Saunders, the amateur experience. People don't realize how experienced this guy is. He's a machine in there. So that's going to be something to watch. Who's going to win the chess match? Because he's dealing with somebody who technically is almost as sound as him. And then I look at ring generalship. No, I just said ring generalship. Then I look at boxing ability. Just pure boxing ability. Ring generalship, I give the slight edge to Canelo. Pure boxing ability, I give the slight edge to Billy Joe Saunders. He does some things in there that are going to be very tricky, especially as a southpaw. Like I said before, those are the type of fighters who have historically given Saul Canelo Alvarez problems. Not the average ones. I'm talking about the above average to great guys like the Lawrence and the Austin Trouts. And Billy Joe Saunders is cut from that same cloth. And he's undefeated. So he's not going to get in there and get rattled when Canelo lands a good punch or blocks one of his combinations. He's not going to lose his composure, in my opinion. That's going to be the big difference between some of the guys Canelo's fought recently and Billy Joe Saunders. Same as with Triple G. Triple G got hit with a combination by Canelo, and it didn't even faze him. Because Triple G's been in there with the best of the best, and he was undefeated. He had that champion's mindset. So did Canelo, but I'm just saying, he's dealing with a different caliber of fighter than he has in his last couple of fights. And then X Factor, I'm going to go ahead and give that to Canelo because he has been way more active in the past 2 to 3 years than Billy Joe Saunders has been. Billy Joe Saunders had a fight on November 19th of, he had a fight in 2019, and then he was off for a year until he fought Martin Murray again. That's a long layoff. So yes, he fought back in November of 2020, but he had a long layoff. That's big when it comes to fighting. You have that ring rust, it's really hard to shake that off. And to me, Martin Murray is not the Martin Murray of old. Yes, it's a stay busy fight to me, but Martin Murray, he's past that peak. So you're not really getting the work that you need against a top level fighter, whereas Canelo Alvarez has been active, but he just fought a world champion at 168 and took the belts. I mean, that's a big fight. It's a big fight, man. And he's been sharpening that steel against steel. So to me, overall, that's why I'm going to give the nod to Canelo Alvarez for a couple of reasons. One, because I've always thought he was a better fighter. Even though the gap has closed, I still think that he is a slightly better fighter than Billy Joe Saunders right now. Two, he's been active. So I think that that's going to give him, he's not going to have the ring rust that Billy Joe Saunders is going to have. I mean, yes, Billy Joe Saunders has been active. He was active in November, but still, he has not been as active nearly as Canelo and some other boxers. Honestly, even Triple G has been more active than Billy Joe Saunders. And then, um, lastly, I just believe that Canelo Alvarez has either fixed or very effectively shored up his conditioning issues. That has always been an issue with Canelo Alvarez. And the one thing I know with having that bigger ring, Billy Joe Saunders, he gets out of shape during the offseason, but when he's on, he's in shape. And he's going to be on that bicycle. He's going to be throwing that jab. He's going to be moving around. And the difference between Alvarez now versus Canelo when he fought Triple G is he's in better condition now. I don't see him gassing out. I don't necessarily see Billy Joe Saunders dragging Canelo to deep waters like he might have been able to do a couple years ago. So that's why I'm going to give the edge to Canelo Alvarez in this fight. But it's going to be a much closer fight than I think people anticipate, than Vegas anticipates, than the money in Vegas anticipates, because I think they're really overlooking Billy Joe Saunders and what he can do. So that's my thoughts on it. Right now, Soto is teeing up Takayama in the last fight before the main event. But they're definitely very active. So that's my thoughts on the fight. I got Canelo Alvarez winning unanimous decision in 12 rounds. That's me. He could stop him earlier. It's always possible, but if Billy Joe Saunders makes it through those first 3 rounds, I don't think he's going nowhere. So I think Saul Canelo Alvarez unifies all 3 belts, 3 out of 4, the WBA, WBO, and WBC belts tonight in a unanimous decision. Let me know your thoughts. Share the video. Hope you enjoy the fights. If you're looking at them, the zone is only, I think it might be $15 a month now. It's more than worth it. You get all the fights, especially Canelo's on the roster. Anthony Joshua's on the roster. I think Tyson Fury might be on the roster. They got fighters over there, so go ahead. It's $10. Well, for me, it's $10, but it might be $14 a month, man. Listen, that's like $130 a year, man. Listen, $140 a year, whatever. Go ahead and pay the money. It's more than worth it. They got barn burners every month, every couple months, so you might as well. It's cheaper than buying pay-per-view, but do what you want to. You're a grown adult. I can't tell you how to live your life. But that being said, enjoy the fights. We're going to be back talking about the Sixers very soon. Clinched the playoff berth. Salute. Embiid had a big night yesterday. Held off Lonzo Ball and the Pelicans. So, we'll be talking about them real soon. That's it for now. Enjoy your night. Be safe. Enjoy the fights. And, hey, you might have a spectacle tonight. Peace.